Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Game World. Opening journey through Cyberpunk. After watching Cyber Edge, otaku Jiang Heng felt extremely depressed, but he never expected to obtain a game world travel system. The first time he traveled, he arrived at Night City. The opening system transferred the abilities of 3 characters created by Jiang Heng in the game. Transfer to Swanstein and obtain skill bullet time, transferring legendary subcutaneous armor, obtaining steel skin and iron bones, unable to penetrate bullets, transferring to the wrong side of the road, obtaining super strong vision, insight, dynamic vision, night vision ability, and farsightedness. Transfer the ability of the righteous body to oneself and directly become the human form of Gouda Adam's hammer. More than 90% of full body prostheses. ***. Cyberpunk is just the beginning. Assassin's Creed, Titanfall, Ghost Cry, Old Man Ring, Elder Scrolls V, Fallout 4, House Party. Cross out the last one. Many game worlds are waiting for Jiang Heng's arrival. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Will Night City play? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Night City, Watson's little Chinatown Lishing nightclub. This is the most common place for mercenaries in the Night City, where countless legendary figures have left their names. Of course, no matter how magnificent these big shots used to be, they are all staying in the cemetery now. Oh no, some people don't even have a grave head, like that guy named Silverhand. In the early hours of the morning, the exciting life in the Night City had just begun, especially for mercenaries walking on the edge of the law. At this moment, a young man in his 20s and 60s walked into the door. He looked a bit out of place with the customers around him, as he didn't have colorful hair, colorful clothes, and even no signs of righteousness on his body. In this Night City where everyone kills Matt, the man does appear a bit special. Perhaps it was precisely because of this that as soon as he walked into the door, the customers around him turned their eyes to him. Hey, isn't this guy here to hand over the task again? I remember he only took over the task from Roger last night. It's impossible, it should just be for drinking. But this guy's efficiency is really too high. He completed over 20 commissions in a month, and I heard the success rate is 100%. Mad, where exactly did this guy come from as a monster? The customers were discussing, but the man remained indifferent and only paused as he passed by the dancing girl. It truly deserves to be the city of the night, it just knows how to play. The man looked at the girl dancing in a glass cylinder filled with water and couldn't help but sigh inwardly. However, he didn't stop much, just glanced at it and then walked towards a VIP card seat. At this moment, there was a woman sitting in the card seat area with slightly grayish-white hair, wearing a yellow carapace, who looked a certain age but still had a proud and charming figure. This woman is none other than the famous queen of the next life. Logue. Speaking of Rog, she is definitely one of the top figures in the mercenary circle. The entire Night City probably cannot find any more capable and skilled intermediaries than her. After all, this woman is at least 70 or 80 years old. Upon seeing the young man walking over, Logue frowned. This sudden appearance of the young man was actually quite likable to her, because he was decisive in his actions, never procrastinating, and was very efficient. But at the same time, his unconventional playing also gave Rog a headache. Grandma Luo, the commission has been completed, and I have taken over the Tiger Claw gang that is entrenched in the Iching bar. The man arrived at the seating area, sat down without any courtesy, and then spoke up. And as soon as this guy spoke, he scared the people around him and almost fell off the sofa. Although everyone here knows that Roger is quite old, there are really no people who dare to call her Grandma Luo. Upon hearing this, Logue also saw, popping out of her forehead. She really wished she could tear this guy's stinky mouth apart. However, considering that there are still many people watching here, Logue is not easy to get angry. After all, the queen's heirs in the afterlife still need to be carried. After taking a few deep breaths and calming his anger, Rog turned his head to gaze at the man and said in a deep voice, "The commission has indeed been completed, but I am not satisfied. What I mean is to ask you to communicate with the other party. If it can be resolved peacefully without killing someone, it would be best." Surprisingly, I have a certain friendship with Song Zi. The man, upon hearing this, looked displeased and said, "I did indeed do as you instructed, not a single one left." Rog. Privacy tax, AE, however, before she could speak, the man spoke up again and said, "All right, Grandma Luo, stop pretending. We're all old and it's tiring to pretend like this. I'm not sure what you mean, right? My style of handling things is not unfamiliar to you. I never do tasks that don't kill people. If you ask me to collude with the Tiger Claw gang, then you're running to kill people. Now that I've entrusted you to complete it perfectly, I've taken out all 23 members of the Tiger Claw gang who occupied the Iching bar. Give me the money." Upon hearing this, Logue was speechless because the man was indeed right. Her true intention was to rush to kill. But surface-level skills still need to be done. After all, she has a certain friendship with Gezi. Both of them are the most experienced intermediaries in the Night City. One is the Queen of the Next Life, and the other is a high-level member of the Tiger Claw gang. It's not good for anyone to just tear open their face. Even in this city of the night, there is not only fighting and killing, but also worldly wisdom. As for questioning Gezi afterwards, Rog could easily pass on some excuses, such as the one handling the matter being a newcomer who didn't understand her meaning or anything. After all, Jiang Heng is truly a newcomer. With nothing to say, Rog leaned on his forehead and chose to change the subject, saying, "I'll transfer your money to you later." But then again, what kind of era is this? Are you still using a brick phone as a communication tool? What's wrong with a mobile phone? It's better than installing a computer in one's own mind, being hacked and wandering around like a kiln, and throwing a fire at you when you leave, right? Roger was speechless again. She didn't want to talk to the young man in front of her anymore. This guy was even more annoying than Johnny Silverhand. "Alright, do you have anything else to do? If it's okay, get out of here quickly." Rog directly ordered to leave. "Of course there is. Do you have any other commissions here? The more money, the better." Roger. "Not yet. Forget it, I'll go have a drink and leave." "Will it be on your account?" Okay, go ahead and get out of here." The man made an okay gesture towards Robbie, then left the seating area and arrived at the bar. He said to the female bar with long wine-red hair, "Claire, have a Johnny Silverhand." "Okay, please wait a moment." Claire was clearly quite familiar with men and went straight to mix the drinks. A glass of old-fashioned tequila, with some chili and beer added. This brainless recipe is probably only imaginable by that crazy guy named Johnny Silverhand in the entire Night City. "Your wine." Soon, the wine was ready. The man picked it up and took a sip, instantly putting on a mask of pain on his face. Damn it, what was that brain-paralyzed brain thinking at that time? How could it come up with such a terrible thing? "Hee, do you want to leave a recipe too? What if you also become a legendary figure?" Claire said with a smile. "That's okay, I don't have much interest in becoming a legendary figure, and I don't want to stay in the cemetery." The man shook his head and said that leaving a drink recipe named after his own name in the next life was like giving a flag. As a senior anime, Jiang Heng would never do such a thing. Chapter 2. Man Team, Double Horsetail Little Lolita Rebecca. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Just as the man was silently savoring the extremely unpleasant tequila in his glass, another group of people began to discuss with him from a booth behind him. There are a total of 6 people in this group, 3 men and 3 women, with one of them, a girl like Loli, particularly eye-catching. What exactly is that guy from? How dare he talk to Logue like that? Double ponytailed little Loli stared at the man's back and asked. Who knows? I heard it just appeared a month ago, and I killed a big shot right after I arrived, so I was taken in by ROG. Since then, I have often worked with ROG and have taken on more than 20 orders in just 1 month, with a success rate of 100%. The person who answered was a burly man with dark skin and blonde hair. So impressive, can we win over a bit? This way, our team's strength will definitely be greatly enhanced. Forget it, this kind of bully is not something our team can handle. They cooperate with Log as soon as they arrive, and we don't even have the qualification to talk to Log now. Ah! He's looking at us. Just as a few people were discussing, the little Loli with 2 ponytails suddenly shouted out. Everyone instantly shut up and turned their heads to see that the man was looking towards this side. The man who was originally drinking quietly seemed to hear someone talking about him, and his voice seemed a bit familiar, so he turned his head and glanced, only to be stunned when he saw those few people. These 6 people, aren't they the Mann team? Mann, the team captain with dark skin and a muscular figure, Dorio, a burly woman like him and also Mann's girlfriend. Hacker Chiwei, with short pale pink hair and a pink iron mask on her face, the middle-aged man sitting next to her, who looked quite honest, was the reliable driver in the team, Falco. There is also the peculiar Pura with a pair of hand prostheses resembling gibbons, and the most important one is Pura's sister. The double ponytailed little Loli Rebecca. A pair of long ponytails tied with light blue hair, alternating red and yellow circles in prosthetic eyes, and slightly thick and short legs, it's just a cute little Rebecca. Ah, it's interesting. After traveling for over a month, I finally met an acquaintance again. Seeing these 6 people, the man's face showed a meaningful smile, and he immediately stood up and walked towards them. Brother, what can I do for you? There are not many people in the night city who are so polite. Seeing the man walking towards this side, the 6 of them immediately became vigilant. As the captain, Mann stood up directly, his tall and sturdy body blocking his teammates, and asked the man in front of him. Mann has a tall stature with a large arm and a round waist. He must be at least 2 meters tall and weigh over 200 pounds. In contrast, the man in front of him appeared much more petite. Oh, nothing, I just wanted to ask if you have any work to do. The man looked up at Mann and said with a faint smile. Upon hearing this, the 6 of them were all taken aback. Just now, they thought that a man like him must not be interested in their team, but they didn't expect him to take the initiative to join now. Although it may have been just a simple collaboration, it also left the 6 people feeling extremely surprised. Don't worry, I don't want much compensation, as long as someone kills me, the man said again. Ah! Mann and others were momentarily incredulous, and everyone looked at each other, unsure whether to agree or refuse. Although the man is indeed impressive, everyone doesn't know him. The most important thing for a team is to cooperate well. Suddenly adding an unfamiliar person may even damage the team's overall integrity, even if the person is strong. So, after much thought, Mann replied, "Sorry, we haven't had much work lately either." Well, that's really a pity. It seems like this time will be quite boring, but it's fate to meet. How about treating me to a glass of wine? Everyone knows each other, having more friends in a better way. I just ordered a broken glass of wine called Johnny Silver Hand at the bar, and the taste is probably even worse than a month-old slop. The man is like a social bully, babbling a lot. Upon hearing his words, Mann didn't take it seriously. Instead, he laughed heartily and said, that's not a problem. Come and drink whatever you want. In the mercenary circle, it would be great if you could meet some talented people, especially since this man seems to have a good relationship with Log. If you get to know him well, you might be able to connect with Log. As the team captain, Mann is not someone with well-developed limbs and a simple mind. Seeing the other party agree, the man didn't hesitate and sat down next to Rebecca. By the way, I almost forgot to introduce myself. My name is Jiang Heng, a dragon person. I just arrived at the night city a month ago. After sitting down, the man gulped down a large glass of beer and then picked it up and said to the crowd. Compared to these tequilas, Jiang Heng still prefers beer. My name is Mann, and I am the captain of our team. This is Dorio. Mann raised his glass and touched Jiang Heng, then introduced the team members one by one. At the same time, the hacker Chiwei sitting in the corner's eyes lit up, but soon her face was filled with shock. Just now, she quietly used her prosthetic eye to scan Jiang Heng, but was surprised to find that she couldn't scan any information because the guy in front of her had neither a brain computer nor any prosthetic body installed. Although there are people in the Night City who do not install any righteous bodies, most of them are ordinary people, as well as some Buddhist monks and so on. And Jiang Heng is a mercenary. How did he complete those dangerous tasks without installing any righteous bodies? Can he just rely on his physical body to fight against those who have installed powerful righteous bodies? How could this be possible? Chiwei can't figure it out. In fact, Jiang Heng discovered Chiwei's little move, but he didn't expose it. He didn't have much interest in Chiwei. Although Chiwei looks pretty, no one knows what's underneath her iron mask. Is it possible that after removing the iron mask, there will be a big steel mouth? This is not just a fantasy. After all, Chiwei is a hacker, and it is entirely possible to replace her mouth with some unique characters. Chapter 3. This person is a pervert. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Compared to Chiwei, Jiang Heng still thinks that Rebecca, this little loli, is more fragrant. Who would refuse a little loli with 2 ponytails who can hold 2 guns and sometimes look like a mother? Little sister, how old are you this year? Are you old enough to drink? Jiang Heng held the wine and asked Rebecca, who was sitting next to him. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present fell silent. Little sister. Little sister Nima, you're the one who's special. I'm 18 years old this year. Oh, this little mouth has a sweet and honey-like taste. It really makes people feel very familiar. If it weren't for the rules of the afterlife, Rebecca would probably have pulled out her 2 guns and directly shot Jiang Heng into a hornet's nest. Although Rebecca may appear to be a loli on the outside, her age is not small. She is even older than David and is a legitimate loli. Looking at Rebecca, who was spitting out her fragrance, Jiang Heng was not angry at all. He naturally knew that Rebecca was not really a little sister anymore, and the reason why he said this was to tease her. Wow, really? You're 18 years old. It's a bit hard to tell, but at a young age, you actually have a huge family fortune, which is really enviable. When everyone heard this, they were a bit confused. When did Rebecca become a millionaire? What do you mean by that? Little loli also stared at Jiang Heng with big eyes in confusion and asked. You see, you are all people who own private airports. Isn't it just a matter of wealth? I just don't know if my fighter jet can take off and land at your airport. Now everyone knows what Jiang Heng's words really mean. Rebecca's anger rose 3 zhang high in an instant as she just went down. Ah! You stinky idiot, go to hell with you. With a roar, the irritable little loli jumped up from the sofa and gave Jiang Heng a pair of scissors legs. Jiang Heng did not dodge or avoid this. Wow, this is not punishment, it is clearly a reward. When Rebecca was thinking of giving Jiang Heng a set of cat fists to beat him so that he didn't even know his mother, she suddenly felt a warm feeling on her legs. Rebecca lowered her head and was immediately stunned. This pervert even gave her a kiss. Ah, you're such a pervert. Rebecca immediately jumped out 3 meters away from Jiang Heng, and the irritable little loli completely fell into the disadvantageous position. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Listening to Jiang Heng's apology, everyone did not see any remorse in him at all. On the contrary, there was a lewd aftertaste expression on his face. This person is abnormal. The towering image that Jiang Heng had originally established in the hearts of the 6 collapsed with a loud bang. After chatting with a few members of Mann's team for a while, Jiang Heng decided to go home and rest. He had hardly made any adjustments for a month in a row, and he actually felt a bit tired. Looking back, everyone. I still have to catch the latest tram, so I won't talk to you today. Jiang Heng stood up and said goodbye to everyone. Then he turned his gaze to Rebecca, who was farthest from him, and smiled, saying, "Rebecca, please keep in touch. Ghosts want to contact you." Jiang Heng didn't mind either, just turned around and left. He was indeed going to catch the latest tram. As for why Jiang Heng doesn't drive by himself, it's because he has only been in Night City for a month and hasn't taken his driver's license yet. Moreover, he drank alcohol today, so it's impossible for him to borrow a car from a kind-hearted person on the street. After all, he is a free good young man who grew up in the Red Flag. Even if he comes to the Night City, he must urge himself to be a law-abiding 5-star good citizen. It is still necessary to abide by the law of not drinking or driving, and of course, Night City does not seem to have this law. After leaving the Afterlife nightclub, Jiang Heng headed straight to the tram station and then took the tram back to Clarendon Street. Clarendon Street is located southwest of Little Chinatown in the Watson district, facing the sea. It is the busiest area in the entire Watson district and faces the most luxurious municipal center of the entire Night City across the river. The light rail tram hanging in mid-air passed through the block, shuttling between high-rise buildings. Jiang Heng stood inside the tram, gazing at the beautiful night view of the Night City. The massive skyscrapers cover the endless winding streets, the neon halo sets the stage for the steel and concrete ballet, and under the sky's floodlights and giant screens, bulky floating cars run through like fish. Luxury hotels, delicious restaurants, and dazzling nightclubs and strip clubs, among others. In the corners that the wealthy cannot see, the mafia is fighting and the poor are screaming. In various dirty and disorderly alleys, there are scattered homeless people in tattered clothes. Everything highlights the prosperity of this city, but at the same time, it tells people of its corruption and dirtiness. Standing in the tram, Jiang Heng couldn't help but feel his thoughts racing as he watched these scenes. A month ago, he was still an ordinary otaku, living in his rented house every day playing games and watching anime. Because he really liked the game Cyberpunk 2077, he immediately went to watch it when he heard about derivative animations. Cyberpunk works are basically filled with a tragic tone, and it is generally impossible to have a happy ending because cyberpunk is a literature with a strong anti-utopian and pessimistic color. Jiang Heng is not someone who enjoys watching tragedies, but because he enjoys games, he still went to watch anime. After seeing his little lowly Rebecca turn into Rebecca sauce, Jiang Heng punched through his computer screen. But he didn't expect to obtain a game world traversal system at this time. Before Jiang Heng could figure it out, he traveled to the Night City. Chapter 4. Wind and Spirit, Moon Shadow, Eternal Drip of God. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Heng, who had just traveled, felt very anxious in his heart. After all, Night City is a place full of dangers, where various gangs are lurking. There are intermediaries who eat people but don't spit out bones, and powerful figures who don't treat ordinary people like people. Here, there is always a possibility of encountering terrorist attacks, gang fights, and even buying a pack of toilet paper one day could lead to robbing a store. It is even more common to be robbed by car enthusiasts while walking on the street, and one may even be hit by a bullet flying from an unknown source. The City of Night is a paradise for the rich and a hell for the poor. Jiang Heng is a time traveler, without money or power. He has not yet installed any righteous bodies on his body, and even he is a gangster. It is simply wishful thinking to survive here. Fortunately, Awesome of the system completed his identity registration when he took him across the City of Night, and also gave him a house property. The house is located on Clarendon Street on the southwest coast of Little Chinatown in Watson, which is the busiest neighborhood in the entire Watson district due to its proximity to the city center across the river and the coastal area. The system is very awesome. The attached property is a large flat floor on the roof, with an indoor area of 500 square meters. What's more, there is an outdoor space of more than 700 square meters. The outdoor space has facilities such as lawns, aerial gardens, aerial swimming pools, and even floating car landing platforms, which can be said to be quite luxurious. This place is exclusive to the wealthy and difficult for ordinary people to reach. Just the property gifted by the system cannot be bought by ordinary citizens of Night City who work for 10 lifetimes. So what specific functions does Jiang Heng system have? Overall, there are only two. 1. Leading Jiang Heng to travel to various game worlds. For example, the current world is the world of the game Cyberpunk 2077. Secondly, adaptive ability. The so-called adaptive ability is actually the ability of the system to make adjustments according to the different worlds it travels through. For example, in the current world, the system's capabilities are transferred. What is transfer? In fact, it is to transfer the abilities and items of the game character V controlled by Jiang Heng to himself. The ability of this transfer not only includes various skills in the game, but also a series of abilities for righteous bodies and equipment. By transferring to the Cyanweistenity, Jiang Heng can obtain the skill, Bullet Time. Transferring to legendary subcutaneous armor, Jiang Heng's skin will become incredibly tough, unable to penetrate even bullets. By transferring to optical camouflage, Jiang Heng can obtain the invisibility skill. Transferring to the second section jump, Jiang Heng can gain super strong jumping ability, with a 10-meter high jump. By transferring to the gorilla arm, Jiang Heng's arm strength will greatly increase, truly transforming into a unicorn arm. After transferring the ability of the prosthetic body, Jiang Heng himself did not need to install the prosthetic body to transform into a humanoid form. In addition, attribute points in the game can also be transferred. In the game Cyberpunk 2077, the attributes of characters are divided into 5 categories: physical, technical, reactive, calm, and intellectual. And Jiang Heng's game character's 5 major attributes are all full. Not only that, he can even install double the number of characters. Why can he achieve this? Don't ask, it's just the Wind Spirit Moon Shadow with the mod God of War. Wind Spirit and Moon Shadow, forever dripping God. By transferring his physical attributes, Jiang Heng's body can become a little superhero. Transferring the attribute of reaction, Jiang Heng's reaction became even stronger than that of a cat. By transferring technology, Jiang Heng can acquire the ability to disassemble and assemble firearms and equipment. Being calm can make Jiang Heng less likely to be detected while stealth. As for intelligence, it was originally related to hackers in the game, but after being transferred to Jiang Heng, his underdeveloped brain will become much smarter and his learning ability will be enhanced. In summary, different attributes have different effects, and some small skills among the 5 major attributes can also be transferred. However, it should be noted that transferring is not simply transferring all the abilities and items possessed by the game character to Jiang Heng at once, but rather requiring him to complete tasks on his own to obtain the opportunity for transfer. Fortunately, just now the system has undergone 3 automatic transfers. One of them is the full-level physical attribute, which greatly enhances Jiang Heng's physical fitness. Otherwise, if he were to fight with others in a deserted house, he would probably only be targeted. The second is the Cyanweistenity, which gave Jiang Heng the skill of bullet time. With this skill, he truly had the foundation to settle down in this world. The third is sword skills, which enable Jiang Heng to proficiently use swords to confront enemies. It is precisely because of these 3 opportunities for marriage transfer that Jiang Heng was able to overcome the awkward period of just crossing the river, and he has been frantically working on tasks for the past month to obtain new opportunities for marriage transfer. In the game Cyberpunk 2077, the game character V is still very strong. Take blade and sword flow as an example. The Qing blade and sword can take tens of thousands of health with just one strike. No matter who it is, even Adam's hammer can chop it into pieces. The most important thing is that when the abilities of game characters are placed in the real world, they often become stronger. Because no matter how realistic the game is, there will be significant limitations. For example, some fixed scenes in the game that cannot be destroyed, not to mention swords, cannot be destroyed by nuclear bombs. But in reality, there is no such limitation. When a person gains the ability of a game character, they can completely become a humanoid entity, truly achieving one person as one army. Besides, Jiang Heng's game character still has the Wind Spirit Moon Shadow mod added. Chapter 5. Lucy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The light rail tram is only a few stops away from Jiang Heng's residence, and he has regained his lost thoughts. Jia with a soft sound, the tram door opened and the passengers went up and down. Just then, a white figure caught Jiang Heng's attention. I saw a girl with white hair, wearing a black jumpsuit and a short white jacket over it. Lucy. Jiang Heng was secretly surprised that this girl was none other than the protagonist Lucy in the game-derived animation Edgewalker. He never expected to meet not only the 6 members of Mann's team, but also Lucy today. Why didn't Lucy go to the Afterlife nightclub with the other members of the Mann team? Jiang Heng speculated that it might be because Lucy hasn't met Chiwei yet, so she naturally wasn't recommended to join the Mann team. According to a side quest in the game about Edgewalker, it can be inferred that the protagonist David was killed about a year before the start of the game plot, which means that David died in 2076. Calculating the timeline of the animation plot, Lucy probably joined the Mann team between 2074.2075. And now, precisely in early May 2074, Lucy should still be alone, and it is even possible that she has just arrived at Night City. When Jiang Heng first crossed over, he found that the world was only 2074 years old and still felt very boring. After all, there was still some time before the animation and game storyline could start. But now, a month later, Jiang Heng no longer felt this way because he found it too difficult to obtain the system's transfer opportunity. He worked frantically on tasks for a month without even getting a transfer opportunity. The transfer opportunity of the system is expressed in the form of charging, and when the energy bar is full, it can automatically obtain a transfer opportunity. To fill the energy bar, Jiang Heng needs to kill or complete tasks. Jiang Heng also didn't expect that he could only fill half of the energy bar after completing about 20 tasks in a month. It is true that it is 2 pitfalls. Perhaps it was because Jiang Heng's gaze was too obvious and he stayed with Lucy for too long, so shortly after getting on the car, Lucy noticed it. She turned her head to look at Jiang Heng, who was not far from her, and their gaze instantly intertwined in the air. Upon seeing this, Jiang Heng slightly curved the corner of his mouth, then turned his head and no longer focused on Lucy, but once again turned his gaze towards the outside of the window. He didn't have any intention of actively approaching because there was really no good reason. However, Jiang Heng's behavior caused Lucy's confusion. This man is so strange. Looking at Jiang Heng, Lucy's eyes flickered with light. This was her performance of scanning Jiang Heng with her own prosthetic eye. However, this sight shocked Lucy immensely. That man was actually a primitive without any prosthetic body installed. Lucy's surprise in her heart was just like that of Chiwei before. They couldn't believe it. Is there anyone in this era who doesn't even install any prosthetics? It is understandable to say that Jiang Heng is a Buddhist monk, but he is clearly not. Lucy, who couldn't figure it out, didn't hesitate much in this regard. She had her own things to do when taking the tram. Without caring about Jiang Heng anymore, Lucy withdrew her thoughts and began secretly observing the passengers in the carriage. It's already midnight now, and most of the people in the car are social animals who go out to enjoy nightlife and work overtime until late at night. And those social animals, who are extremely tired and drowsy, are Lucy's target. Quickly, the car doors closed again and the tram began to start again. Because the tram adopts maglev technology, it runs quietly and smoothly, and tired passengers quickly start to close their eyes and rest. At that moment, Lucy started moving. She walked between the carriages and approached a company employee. With a direct gesture, the chip in the slot behind the employee's ear flew out automatically. After stealing one person's chip without leaving a trace, Lucy came to another person and performed the same trick again. During her time in the Night City, Lucy made a living by stealing second-hand chips from others and selling them. And her goals are all some company dogs, because only employees working in the company will have valuable chips. Unconsciously, Lucy had arrived not far from Jiang Heng. She once again easily stole someone's chip and immediately prepared to put it back in her bag. Pop. However, at this moment, Lucy felt her hand being grabbed, and her heart suddenly froze. She quickly turned her head to look, only to find that the strange man was smiling at her. "What are you doing?" Lucy pretended to be calm as she looked at Jiang Heng and asked. Jiang Heng did not answer, but instead forcefully pulled Lucy to the place where the carriage was connected. P.S. New book, everything. Additionally, if you want to watch any games, you can mention them in the comments section. Authors who have not played them before can play them in advance to get familiar with them. Chapter 6. Beauty, team up with me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bang. Jiang Heng didn't give Lucy a chance to resist. He gave Lucy a wall thud with just one force. He grabbed Lucy's wrist with one hand and pressed it down, while supporting her on the carriage with the other to prevent her from escaping. "What are you doing?" Lucy, whose wrist was a bit sore from being made, was a little angry and asked angrily as she looked at Jiang Heng, who was nearby. "Beauty, you don't want me to expose your theft of someone else's chip, do you?" Jiang Heng smiled and asked in response. "Ha!" Lucy was taken aback by this. Jiang Heng said, "I just saw very clearly. You've been stealing someone else's chip all along." Upon hearing this, Lucy frowned and said, "What, do you want to hand me over to NCPD for some bounty in a flag of good citizenship? Well, that's a good suggestion." Jiang Heng withdrew his hand from the carriage and touched his chin, pretending to be thinking. "You." Seeing this, Lucy felt a bit anxious, she just casually said it. In fact, Lucy is not afraid of NCPD, and even if Jiang Heng reports to the police, NCPD is too lazy to pay attention to these small matters, but Lucy is worried that they will be noticed by the people in the wilderness. "Hee, just a joke, don't worry," Jiang Heng said with a smile as he saw Lucy getting anxious. "What exactly do you want, this guy?" Upon hearing this, Lucidin couldn't help but feel angry, gritting her teeth as she stared at him. "Alright, the chat is over. It's time to get back to business. You must be a hacker, pretty girl, right?" Jiang Heng put away his smile and asked seriously. "What's wrong?" Lucy was also curious about what Jiang Heng wanted to do when he asked. Jiang Heng said straightforwardly, "If you are a hacker and have good skills, I would like to invite you to join my mercenary team. I happen to be missing a hacker partner right now." In fact, inviting Lucy to form a team was also a whim for Jiang Heng, but during this month, he did encounter some difficulties while doing tasks because he did not understand hacking techniques. In the cyberpunk world, hackers are definitely the most formidable type of people, whether in games or in reality, because most people in this world are equipped with brain machines and more or less semantic entities. As long as they have a brain machine, hackers can invade someone else's brain and wander around like a backyard. Of course, the prerequisite is that the hacker technology must pass the test. However, if faced with pure humans like Jiang Heng who have no sense of meaning or installed brain computers, the means of hackers will be ineffective. Just as Jiang Heng did earlier, if he had a righteous body on him, he would probably have been directly blackened and burned by Lucy by now. Upon hearing that Jiang Heng actually wanted to invite her to join the team, Lucy was stunned for a moment, and then her gaze at Jiang Heng became somewhat strange. Is this person's brain okay? Surprisingly inviting a completely unfamiliar stranger as a companion. And can a person who has not installed any prosthetics really become a mercenary? Lucy naturally didn't know that Jiang Heng actually knew her very well, nor did she know that Jiang Heng had any cheats. Hey, why aren't you talking? Whether or not you agree or not is a question. Jiang Heng couldn't help but urge Lucy to answer for a long time. Let go of me first before we talk. Sorry, I forgot. Jiang Hengsong opened Lucy's wrist. Rubbing her wrist, Lucy couldn't help but mutter, "You guy, you really don't know how to cherish fragrance and jade at all." Jiang Heng argued, "Isn't your hand equipped with polymer wire? It shouldn't be that easy to hurt, right? Do you still see that I have polymer wires installed on my hands?" Lucy was quite surprised. "Of course, I'm not blind." "Forget it, let's not talk about that anymore. Why did you invite me to join your team? And what are the benefits of me joining your team?" Lucy didn't intend to get too caught up in the topic of polymer wires. Cough cough, let me introduce myself. I, Jiang Heng, am a mercenary and I know Roger. We often work from her, and you should know about Roger, right? Of course, the queen of the next life, the intermediary of the Night City legend, I naturally know. But do you really know Roger? Lucy asked suspiciously. What did I deceive you for? If you don't believe me, you can personally go to the afterlife to inquire. Although I haven't been a mercenary for long, I should have made some achievements in this month. You just need to inquire a little bit to find out. I have Rog's way, and the rewards for the tasks I receive are very generous. You can definitely earn much more by following me than stealing second-hand chips and buying them now, and it's even easier. Okay, then I'll answer whether you're joining or not after I inquire, Lucy said as the situation went. No problem, then beautiful woman, let's exchange our contact information, said Jiang Heng as he took out his phone. Looking at the phone in Jiang Heng's hand, Lucy fell silent again. Although mobile phones have not been completely eliminated, there are indeed not many people still using them. However, Lucy immediately exchanged contact information with Jiang Heng. By the way, beautiful woman, I don't know your name yet. Jiang Heng asked Lucy after saving her communication. My name is Lucy. Chapter 7. Lucy's heart moved. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At 2 o'clock in the morning, Jiang Heng returned to his apartment. After taking a shower, he came outside wearing a bathrobe and carrying a glass of red wine, leaning against the railing at the edge to enjoy the night view of the Night City. It has to be said that the Night City truly deserves to be called the Night City, and its night scenery is quite beautiful. Unfortunately, beneath this beautiful appearance, there is endless filth and squalor. After finishing a glass of red wine, Jiang Heng returned to the room to rest. And what he didn't expect was that Lucy actually went to the Afterlife nightclub to inquire about his news. After learning some information about Jiang Heng, Lucy was immediately stunned. What this guy said was actually true, and even appeared somewhat humble. But Lucy really can't figure out how a person who hasn't even installed any prosthetics can complete those difficult mercenary tasks. Could it be that he used various hormones and testosterone like the group of people from Animal Help? But his physique doesn't seem to have used animal supplements like hormones, Lucy couldn't help but wonder. Animal Gang is a very special gang organization in Night City. The people in this gang do not use traditional prosthetics, but instead rely on large amounts of testosterone, growth hormone, and other animal supplements to strengthen their bodies. At the same time, they are also obsessed with the untamed side of human nature, which is wildness. And they have a near dangerous obsession with their own sense of identity, which is why this gang is called the Animal Gang. However, although using animal supplements can have a strengthening effect on the body, it can also bring some side effects, such as excessive growth of the body, enlargement of the body, and so on. That's why almost all the people in the Animal Gang are those big guys. Although Jiang Heng is over 1.8 meters tall and has a very strong physique, his muscles look very natural. While he has a strong sense of power, he does not lack beauty, which cannot be a muscle created by hormone therapy. Fortunately, Lucy is not the kind of person who loves to nitpick. If she can't figure it out, then she won't think about it. After all, this is the city of night, and dead people can be resurrected. What else is impossible? Immediately, Lucy began to consider whether to team up with Jiang Heng. As Jiang Heng said, he knows Roger, and the rewards for the work he takes from him are definitely very generous. After all, ordinary work cannot catch Roger's eye. And with Jiang Heng's methods, teaming up with him would definitely earn more money than selling any second-hand chips. For a moment, Lucy was a bit tempted. Her only concern was Jiang Heng's character. After all, she could be said to have no knowledge of him. Hi, what's bothering me? I'm a hacker, all I need to do is help behind the scenes. Even if he wants to cheat, he can't cheat me. In the end, Lucy convinced herself. Perhaps, having been alone all these years, she also feels a bit lonely. Lucy, who has been an orphan since childhood, was selected by the Arizaka company with a group of friends during her childhood and has been instilled with the concept of serving the company when she grows up. And Lucy and her friends have been holding on to this dream that is not their dream, enduring the arduous study of hackers. However, even this dream that does not belong to one's own dreams is actually fabricated by Arizaka company. Arizaka's true goal is to cultivate Lucy and others into tools to mine the massive data and technical information lost in the old era on the old internet. To enter the old network, one needs to break through the black wall, and to break through the black wall, one needs to engage in deep diving, which is a means for hackers to directly infiltrate the cyberspace with their own consciousness. The method of directly using consciousness to infiltrate the network itself carries huge risks, because once consciousness is attacked, people will also lose their lives. However, the old network is filled with illegal malware and aggressive AI, and it can be said that deep diving into the old network is simply seeking death. Many of Lucy's buddies died as a result. Later, with a mentality of, since they were all dying, why not give it a try, Lucy and a few surviving buddies launched a counterattack. They used the hacker knowledge taught to them by Arizaka to kill the guards and try to escape from the company. However, in the end, only Lucy succeeded in escaping. After escaping from the cage of Arizaka, Lucy never dared to stay in the same place more. Over the years, she had visited many cities and only recently arrived at Night City. She realized that this place was a paradise for someone who was determined to remain anonymous, so she chose to temporarily settle here. Years of escape have left Lucy physically and mentally exhausted, filled with loneliness and solitude. Therefore, when Jiang Heng invited her, Lucy was already tempted, even if she didn't know Jiang Heng at all. However, Lucy has a strong sense of vigilance and naturally cannot easily agree. So she personally came to the Lixing nightclub to inquire about Jiang Heng's information, but unexpectedly, Jiang Heng brought her many surprises. Lucy wants to try to get in touch with Jiang Heng. If she can make close friends in this cold world, then her life may be worth it. Chapter 8. Don't talk nonsense, just call your wife. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At 8 o'clock in the morning, the sun rises from the east, once again illuminating the earth, and the night city welcomes a new day. Jiang Heng was not working today, so he thought of taking a nap, but the phone rang early in the morning. Hello, who is that? Jiang Heng took the phone placed on the bedside table in a daze and answered the call. It's me. A very beautiful and crisp female voice came from the receiver. However, Jiang Heng, who had not yet fallen asleep, did not even recognize who the other person was, so he directly said, You. Who are you? It's me, Lucy. Upon hearing this answer, Jiang Heng finally regained some clarity. So it's Lucy's wife, why are you calling so early? Lying down. Upon hearing the words Lucy, Jiang Heng, whose mind was not yet fully awake, instinctively said some incredible things. And just as he finished speaking, he immediately woke up with a start. Damn it, I accidentally revealed my true thoughts. Sigh, it's strange that my dream last night was too beautiful. As an otaku, he naturally has many anime wives, and Lucy is one of his new anime wives. On the other end of the phone, Lucy was stunned. What did this guy just say? Lucy's wife. When did I become that guy's wife? After regaining her senses, Lucy felt that the guy was definitely teasing her, so she gritted her teeth and asked, "Bastard, what did you just say?" Jiang Heng dared not answer, so he pretended to be foolish and said, "Ah. Did I just say something? I'm sorry, I haven't woken up yet and my mind is a bit confused." Lucy. Pretend to be silly, you wait. Bang. The next second, Jiang Heng's phone immediately announced his retirement, and the whole thing started smoking. It was obvious that Lucy had hacked his phone in a fit of anger. Although Lucy couldn't blackmail Jiang Heng without installing it was still easy to blackmail his phone. Didi's phone. Watching his phone bid farewell to this beautiful world, Jiang Heng suddenly felt extremely sad. Sure enough, women still couldn't provoke too harshly, especially since the other party was still a quite powerful hacker. Throwing the smoking phone into the trash can casually, Jiang Heng covered himself with a blanket and prepared to take a nap. On the other hand, Lucy, who had blacked out Jiang Heng's phone, still felt a bit angry. Damn it, you're teasing me. After 3 days of hard work, Jiang Heng finally slept to his heart's content. He got up from bed, stretched lazily, went to the bathroom to put some water on, and without wearing any clothes, he took out a new phone and dialed Lucy's number. Due soon, the phone was connected. "Hello Lucy, it's me. What's going on? Tell me quickly." Cough, that's just to ask, are you calling this morning for anything? Or have you decided to team up with me? Jiang Heng asked directly. Lucy. I was originally thinking of trying to team up with you, but your performance this morning changed my mind, so I refused. Ah. Don't do it, pretty girl. Give it another chance. Although he refused, Jiang Heng could actually hear that Lucy was just teasing him. Poochie. Lucy on the other end of the phone was amused by Jiang Heng's funny tone, but soon she restrained her laughter and said, "If you want me to give you another chance, it's not impossible. Let's see how you behave. Okay, come to my house and I'll make a sumptuous Dragon Kingdom feast myself to apologize for you, okay?" Jiang Heng said. He didn't boast, because this guy's cooking skills are indeed quite good. Before time travel, Jiang Heng was an otaku. Like many otaku, his hobbies were ACGN, animation, comics, games, novels, but at the same time, he also had a certain interest in cooking. Why is Jiang Heng interested in cooking? Actually, it's because he's been getting tired of eating takeout all the time, and he's had enough of the restaurants and noodle shops around him, so he's trying to make it himself. At this point, Jiang Heng found that occasionally cooking a meal to reward himself felt quite good, especially after learning how to cook online and successfully replicating it. He also felt a sense of achievement. Over time, Jiang Heng also developed the habit of cooking on his own, but the only thing that felt troublesome was washing dishes. For Jiang Heng, cooking is a pleasure, washing dishes is torture. Although washing dishes doesn't seem like a dirty or tiring job, he just doesn't like it. After traveling to the city of night, Jiang Heng became even more fond of cooking his own dishes because the food here was really terrible. In addition, in order to avoid eating the synthetic food here, Jiang Heng spent most of the money he earned over the past month on purchasing fresh ingredients. Everything is good in Night City, but the food here is simply indescribable, and it's not just those roadside stalls that taste bad. Many high dead-end restaurants also make dishes that don't taste very good. The reason behind this is that synthetic food has become popular in Night City, making it difficult for ordinary people to eat fresh and authentic animal meat. On the other end of the phone, when she heard that Jiang Heng had invited her directly to his house, Lucy fell silent again. Inviting someone who has known each other for less than a day to visit their own home, what exactly is this person thinking? Lucy didn't know that Jiang Heng was a traveler, and he still retained some of his pre-crossing habits. After all, in Jiang Heng's world, is it not very common to invite friends to their homes? Chapter 9. The warm sun of early spring and the sprouting of dead trees. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Hey, pretty girl, are you coming? Give me a response. Jiang Heng didn't have too many ideas, he really just wanted to treat Lucy to a meal. Come on. But do you really know how to cook? Lucy ultimately didn't choose to refuse. However, just after agreeing, Lucy felt a bit uneasy again. How could she easily agree to the man who had only known him for less than a day and go to his house? Is it true that living too comfortably in the night city has led to a decrease in vigilance? Lucy couldn't figure it out, but she just didn't want to refuse Jiang Heng. Perhaps she really longed for a friend in her heart. Jiang Heng said, "That's natural. You can just watch it out. The chef's craftsmanship is impressive. Hee, don't make it impossible to eat what you've made and just order takeout." Jiang Heng. That's impossible. Lucy. Who knows? Forget it, I won't talk to you anymore. Hurry up and come over. You should know where my home is, right? It's almost noon, and Jiang Heng doesn't plan to argue with Lucy. I know, Lucy replied without denying it. Why did Jiang Heng conclude that Lucy knew where he lived? Since Lucy can black out his phone, it's not difficult to figure out where his phone is located. That's good, hurry up. If it's too slow, I won't keep it for you. The two of them chatted a few more words before ending the conversation. After hanging up the phone, Jiang Heng went to wash up and get dressed. At noon, Jiang Heng was busy in the kitchen when the elevator door on the top floor suddenly opened, and it was Lucy who arrived. As soon as Lucy got off the elevator, she saw the open apartment door. Because Jiang Heng's apartment has a large flat roof, there are no other residents on this floor besides him. It is precisely because of this that Jiang Heng did not lock the door when he learned that Lucy was coming. Lucy walked to the door and looked at the open door, unable to help but murmur, "Is this guy so careless? The door is not even locked." After hesitating at the door for a while, Lucy stepped into the room and reached out to close the door, locking it as well. As soon as she entered the room, Lucy heard a sound of clattering as she cut vegetables. She followed the sound and walked towards the kitchen. Before reaching the kitchen door, she asked for a very tempting aroma of the food. Just smelling this smell made Lucy's fingers twitch a bit. This guy doesn't seem to be bragging, she said, thinking about it. Lucy's footsteps quickened a bit, but when she arrived at the kitchen door and saw the scene inside, she was completely stunned. In the kitchen, Jiang Heng, wearing an apron, was busy washing vegetables, cutting vegetables, and looking at the broth stewed in the pot. It's simple, but the everyday scenes have touched Lucy a lot. She never expected that there would be a man cooking for her in this world, like a husband waiting for his wife to come home. Not to mention it was anticipated, not even fantasized. Lucy spent her childhood in the dimly lit Arizaka company, with nothing more than dull and difficult training every day. After escaping from the Arizaka company, Lucy traveled around the world and visited many cities, but did not stay long because the longer she stayed, the greater the risk of being discovered by the Arizaka company. Lucy, who has had such an experience, has never imagined any family, friendship, or love. She has always been alone. Lucy looked at Jiang Heng, who was busy in the kitchen, in a daze, and Jiang Heng seemed to have noticed it. When she turned to see Lucy, a smile appeared on her face and she said, "Here we are. You can sit for a while and watch TV. The food will be ready in no time, at most half an hour." This ordinary smile, like the sunshine of March, dispelled the cold that had not yet completely dissipated in early spring and brought some warmth to the withered trees about to sprout. Okay. After a while, Lucy hastily responded and quickly turned around, walking into the living room. She sat on the sofa like a marionette. Lucy doesn't know what's wrong with herself, her heart is beating so fast. Jiang Heng didn't notice Lucy's abnormality, he was still focused on his meal. In order to grab Lucy's stomach, Jiang Heng pulled out his specialty dish today. Of course, it's not a fancy dish, it's just some simple home-cooked dishes. After a while, several main dishes were almost ready, so he immediately brought them to the table. Seeing Lucy sitting on the sofa, Jiang Heng immediately shouted, "Lucy, come and help bring the dishes." "Oh, here we are." Lucy quickly stood up and walked towards the kitchen. "Wow, what kind of dish is this? It smells so good, wait a minute. Aren't these really fresh vegetables and animal meat?" Lucy, who had just been daydreaming, immediately set aside her distractions when she saw the dishes. However, she soon realized a new question and looked at Jiang Heng in surprise. The reason Lucy asked this is because fresh vegetables and freshly killed animal meat are rarely seen in Night City. Not to mention freshly killed meat, even frozen meat is rare because Night City has been promoting synthetic food as early as 2020. Chapter 10. Night City Food Guide. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the cyberpunk world, the economic collapse that occurred in 1994 triggered a series of sequelae, including the global food shortage that occurred in 2002. Crop yields worldwide are rapidly decreasing, and the use of genetically modified wheat as a special crop has taken up a lot of farmland, leading to a significant increase in the cost of regular crops. The oil crisis in this world occurred a long time ago. In response to the energy crisis, scientists have developed a high-sugar genetically modified wheat and used it as a raw material to synthesize a special chemical called alcohol-2. And this alcohol is the most important energy source in the cyberpunk world, whether running on the road or flying in the sky, using alcohol. In order to provide sufficient energy for the world, most of the arable land is used to grow high-sugar genetically modified wheat, which has made ordinary crops scarce and precious. So, companies that don't make a profit and don't start early have their mind set on food, which is why synthetic foods have emerged. Synthetic foods are actually made from artificially raised high-protein insects, such as crickets and earthworms. In addition to high-protein insects, biotechnology companies are also vigorously developing and cultivating meat. People can even customize a steak with their own cells, which is called a steak. To be precise, it should be beef-flavored pork chops, which is outrageous. Later, due to an infectious disease caused by birds, Night City fell into crisis tracking. As a result, the Bird Extinction Act was successfully enacted. During the process of bird extinction, many animals were implicated, and only private pets were spared. However, keeping a pet in Night City requires paying a high tax, which is why not only can't birds be seen in Night City, but other animals are also rarely seen. It is precisely because of this infectious disease that Night City has classified fresh products as prohibited products, prohibiting people from selling fresh meat without authorization, and also spreading rumors that eating fresh meat poses a great risk of contracting infectious diseases. In fact, all of this is paving the way for the popularization of synthetic foods. For the people of Night City, eating synthetic foods has become commonplace, and many people actually do not know that the meat they eat is made from insects. However, Jiang Heng couldn't stand this at all. He could tolerate anything, but he never compromised in terms of food. For this, Jiang Heng spared no expense in purchasing some animal meat from the black market, and even spent a lot of money to get some vegetable seeds, and then turned all the lawn and garden in his apartment into a vegetable garden. Even in order to accelerate the growth of vegetables in his garden, Jiang Heng built a glass greenhouse for them and spent a lot of money installing temperature control systems and irrigation systems. It can only be said that this kind of land is truly a natural skill in the genes of the dragon people. The meal that Jiang Heng invited Lucy to eat today was just the simplest home-cooked dish before the time of travel, but in the Night City, it was a high-end food that only the privileged could enjoy. The companies are fabricating lies about how dangerous animal meat is, causing people to be made into a mess by insects, but in fact, they are still enjoying the freshest steak and freshest vegetables themselves. It has to be said that in the cyberpunk world, the power of companies is simply too great, they almost control everything about people. The dishes were all served on the table, and the two of them also sat down separately. These meats are actually what I bought from the black market. As for the vegetables, some were bought from the black market, and some were grown by myself. Look, do you see those greenhouses outside? Inside are some of the crops I planted. Jiang Heng pointed out the window and explained to Lucy the source of these ingredients. Upon hearing this, Lucy looked out the window and only then noticed that some of the crops inside the glass greenhouse had already grown very tall. Looking at those fresh crops, Lucy's eyes were filled with curiosity. She had never seen such crops growing in the field before. Alright, let's not worry about those crops for now. Let's taste the food I made first. If it gets cold, it won't taste good. Jiang Heng reminded as Lucy was attracted to the vegetable garden. Can you introduce what these dishes are? Hearing Jiang Heng's words, coupled with the rich aroma of the food, Lucy's fingers were also moved. Cough, listen carefully then. This dish is called fish-flavored shredded pork, which is one of the 8 famous Sichuan cuisines in the Dragon Kingdom. Jiang Heng proudly introduced it. When it comes to food, the dragon people definitely have a say. Fish-flavored shredded meat. Is this stir-fried with fish? Lucy asked curiously. No, it's stir-fried with ordinary pork, but it's made into a fish-like aroma using magical cooking techniques. I see. Jiang Heng continues to introduce the next dish. Today's lunch is a standard 3-course soup, consisting of fish-flavored shredded pork, spicy chicken, and a simple vegetarian dish with green pepper and fried potato shreds. As for the soup, it's carrot corn stewed pork rib soup. They were all very simple and homely dishes, but Lucy was dazzled by them. Lucy, where have you seen these foods before? She basically eats synthetic meats like hamburgers and skewers, and the taste of these things is really indescribable. The ingredients themselves are very junk, and the cooking skills are not good enough. The food they make is simply pig food, and the dogs of wealthy families will probably walk away disappointed when they smell it. Alright, the dish introduction is over. Let's start eating then. By the way, I almost forgot there's one more thing. After introducing the dishes to Lucy, Jiang Heng immediately announced that they were ready to eat. However, he soon found that both of their bowls were still empty and immediately picked up Lucy's bowl. What's missing? Lucy asked curiously. Rice. Jiang Heng replied. Speaking of this rice, Jiang Heng spent a considerable amount of money to get it. Over the past month, most of the money he received from his tasks has been spent on food.